from the Air Force point of view and the government point of view, it was primarily a public relations exercise. To the Air Force in those days, UFO reports were just an annoyance. They were, and I asked Hector Quintanilla, Major Quintanilla, who was in charge of Blue Book at the time, and he said, it's not our job to do research, it's the scientific community's job. And every time we go to the scientific community, they say there is nothing to UFOs. So who are we to say that the scientists are wrong? The Scientific Advisory Board of the US Air Force had many opportunities to review the UFO files. They knew that people like Dr. Hynek and I and many other scientists were of the opinion that this should be studied, and they could have done something. And if they had given an opinion to the Secretary of the Air Force that this should be studied, it would have been studied. Instead, everything was swept under the rug. You know, there are lots of games being played behind the phenomenon itself. In other words, there is a real phenomenon, but there may be, and here we're talking about the third level, the sociological level. If you could make people expect aliens, you could manipulate public opinion. What intrigued me was that those people had linked to psychological warfare activities of the military, which opens the way to the speculation that perhaps the belief in UFOs can be manipulated as part of psychological warfare exercises. They had launch sites that were secret, and when they launched a rocket, they encouraged the people in the area to believe that what they had seen in the sky was a flying saucer. They actually planted those stories. I think we've done the same thing. I think that there are people who must have, people in Washington and elsewhere, must have a building full of data that I think the scientific community should have. Data that comes from radar, from sensors on Earth, from sensors in the ocean, and from sensors in space. There is a cover-up in the sense that they are keeping that data to themselves. And I think the greatest secret may be that nobody has any idea what those objects are.